The examination hall of the Galactic Academy stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian flooring, its crystalline walls reflecting the nervous energy of 2,000 cadets from 47 different species. David Chen adjusted his standard-issue uniform and glanced around at his fellow candidates, towering Zephyrians with their 4 arms, the insectoid klaxons with their compound eyes glinting under the artificial suns, and the ethereal voidlings who seemed to shimmer in and out of phase. Beside him, Zoe Martinez cracked her knuckles, a distinctly human habit that drew curious stares from nearby aliens. Her dark eyes sparkled with the same competitive fire that had gotten them both selected from Earth's pool of candidates for the Academy's most prestigious program. "Nervous?" she whispered. "Excited," David replied, though his heart hammered against his ribs. Instructor Vexthul, a 7-foot-tall being resembling a cross between a mantis and a scholar, glided to the center of the hall. His voice resonated through implanted translators in each cadet's temporal lobe. "Welcome to the Strategic Intelligence Assessment. You will each receive a Korthak puzzle box, a device that has challenged the greatest minds across the galaxy for millennia. The fastest solver among the Zephyrian High Command took 14 hours. The Klaxon hive mind required 9 hours of collective processing. The record holder, a crystalline entity from the Andromeda Spiral, completed it in 4 hours and 37 minutes. Vexthul's compound eyes swept across the assembled cadets. "You have 12 hours. Begin when your box activates." Floating platforms descended from the ceiling, each carrying an identical metallic cube, roughly the size of a human head. The boxes were beautiful in their complexity. Surfaces covered in interlocking geometric patterns that seemed to shift and flow like liquid mercury. David's platform settled before him with a gentle hum. The moment his fingers touched the cool metal surface, intricate symbols blazed to life across its faces, pulsing with soft bioluminescence. Around him, cadets began settling into meditation poses, extending additional limbs or connecting neural interfaces. David picked up the box, turned it over in his hands twice, and felt along its edges. Something clicked. A panel slid open, then another. His fingers found hidden pressure points, traced along flowing lines that weren't decorative but functional. The box began to unfold like an origami flower made of starlight and mathematics. "Remarkable," he murmured, watching as layers peeled away to reveal an inner sphere covered in what looked like constellation maps. He rotated it, aligned several star patterns, and felt another mechanism give way. The entire process took him 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Zoe, who had been watching from the corner of her eye while manipulating her own box, snorted with barely suppressed laughter. Around them, the other cadets were still analyzing the initial symbols on their box surfaces. David looked up to find Instructor Vexthul standing directly in front of him, all 6 eyes focused with laser intensity. "Explain," the instructor commanded. "Sir, it's not really a puzzle," David said, still holding the now-open device which had revealed a small crystal core pulsing with warm light. "It's an intelligence test disguised as a puzzle. The complexity is an illusion. The box wants to be opened. You can feel it in the way the metal responds to touch. The real test is recognizing that sometimes the simplest approach is correct." A Zephyrian cadet nearby turned all 4 eyes toward them. "Impossible. The sacred Korthak boxes require deep mathematical analysis, quantum probability calculations, and extended meditation on the nature of existence itself." Zoe grinned and lifted her own box. "Like this?" She mimicked David's movements. The same exploratory touches, the same intuitive manipulation. Her box opened in 4 minutes and 12 seconds. "The human approach," she said cheerfully. "Sometimes we just mess around with stuff until it works." Murmurs rippled through the hall in 17 different languages. Several klaxon drones began clicking in what their translators rendered as confused chittering. Instructor Vexthul raised one scythe-like appendage for silence. "In 12,000 years of Academy testing, no species has ever solved the Korthak puzzle in under 4 hours. The humans have inadvertently revealed something we had forgotten." He manipulated a control interface, and holographic displays materialized above each opened box, showing complex readouts. The Korthak boxes were originally created not as puzzles, but as teaching tools for young Korthak children. Over millennia, as the original context was lost, they became symbols of intellectual prowess. We forgot their true purpose: to teach the value of curiosity, exploration, and intuitive learning over purely analytical approaches. David and Zoe exchanged glances. Around them, other cadets were now attempting the human method, tentative touches, experimental manipulation. More boxes began opening. The humans, Vexthal continued, his voice carrying a note of what the translators rendered as wonder, approached this challenge without the burden of our preconceptions. They saw a device and simply played with it. A crystalline entity near the back of the hall chimed melodiously. Are you suggesting that intelligence is not merely about processing power and analytical depth? I am suggesting, Vexthal replied, that intelligence takes many forms. The humans have demonstrated one we had perhaps overlooked. As more boxes opened throughout the hall, David couldn't help but smile. Humanity had spent generations being told they were too young, too primitive, too chaotic for the galactic stage. Yet here they were, solving ancient mysteries not through superior technology or vast processing power, but through something uniquely human, the simple willingness to try. Zoe nudged him with her elbow. Think they'll let us skip to the advanced courses now? Knowing our luck, David replied, watching as Instructor Vexthal began collecting data from the opened boxes. They'll probably design even harder tests just for us. But as he looked around at the hall full of opened puzzle boxes and the bewildered expressions of some of the galaxy's most advanced species, David couldn't help but feel proud. Sometimes being human was exactly the right answer to the question,